Hi, my name is Mary Phelan, and this is my final reflection 5 for PR4301. And I'm really sad that this is our last time doing this. And so I'll go ahead and get right into it. It says, list 3 NPR concepts you have learned in this course and want to remember a year from now. Provide context, details, and an example for each. So first thing that I'm going to talk about is non-media connectors. This is what we've been working on most recently. So non-media connectors are basically utilizing untraditional routes of media. So usually they're not working for the media organization. This can include blog posts, word of mouth, reference groups, viral marketing, and a lot of non-media connectors. It's exciting and it kind of connects you to the right people, and it might cover special topics that are not traditionally covered in regular news media platforms. It's a lot more specialized, and it's also a lot more trustworthy. And I think it's great for getting out information about, especially for a program like Study Abroad. A lot of students will contribute to sort of the campaign for them by a lot of word of mouth. Faculty members can also do the same. And so I think that they're a great way to, for NPR campaigns to utilize, getting their, to spread information about their product or their organization. Second thing that have really stuck with me and that I want to remember a year from now is connectors. Connectors are basically specialized aspects that between the organization and the journalist, you want to have a connector. So they're going to point you in the right direction. And there's connectors in all these different topics. So, you might have a different connector for your media outreach. You might also have another connector for your digital stuff, another connector for your target audience. And it's all about reaching out to the right ones, and then they can lead you to who you need to talk to. This is essential in PR, especially marketing PR. It's all about building relationships, and you want to make sure that you have connectors in a broad variety of not programs, but in different topics that you might need to use to cover. And then the third thing that is really going to stick with me is the basic rules of marketing public relations. Starting off with the first one of be aware of what's newsworthy. It's a big thing. If it's not newsworthy, it's not going to get covered, and people aren't going to see the point of your message. And then also share the news. Just because you create a news template or a press release, it's really big about sharing it and getting it out to all different platforms, and it needs to be suitable for all different platforms. So if you format a press release sent out to a journalist, you want to be able to have that same information in a different format to go on Instagram. And then package it properly, which kind of goes hand in hand with what I just said. Getting it to the right people. This also you're going to be using connectors for, because you might have this great content and you just send it to a media organization. That might be great. It might be a media organization, but they might not be interested in covering what you have to offer. And then be available, which is really big. A lot of things with NPR, especially when you're working with a client, they have to go through media training. As an example, we learned that at Edelman and Prosec, at the companies we visited. They have to do extensive training for their clients to know how to talk to the media. And then another one is to stay engaged. So just once you put that message out there, you also want to be available to interact with people who are, commenting on the message. You also want to be checking that regularly to see how the campaign is going. And then realize that NPR has a global outreach. Technology is huge right now. So basically, if you put something out there, anybody could see it. And depending on the campaign, you want it to be available for everyone to see it and relate to it. And then ethics are not optional. This we've kind of been learning the past 4 years, but ethics in public relations is a big thing. A lot of stuff that you have to abide by. Prosec gave us an example of on the record and off the record media interviews, and making sure that everything is approved by your client and your team to keep the same message across. You don't want anything getting miscued along the way. And then For extra credit, it says, consider reflection 1 and reflect on what you were most looking forward to and what you were worried about. What about now? Were you surprised? Did your fears come true? Wouldn't say my fears came true. I guess I was a little surprised on some of the things we talked about, just kind of like in depth we are. I thought that it was really interesting that a lot of the stuff that we were learning in the course that our agencies that we visited actually talked about. And so I thought that that was really helpful and let us be able to dive into deeper questions when asking them about how they run their business. And no, what about now? I'm pretty sure in my reflection 1, I talked about kind of the use of non-media connectors, which obviously I just covered in this video. So I don't think I was surprised, but I did find the course very helpful, and I definitely learned a few new things that I would like to take with me into my career. Thank you.